In the heart of the desert, one man dared to challenge time itself. Ramses II, the pharaoh who ruled for 66 years. A king, a warrior, a god in the eyes of his people. But more than anything, he was an architect of eternity. He filled Egypt with his face. Carved in sandstone cliffs, etched into temple walls, standing tall on colossal statues. Every stone was a declaration, Ramses would not be forgotten. Abu Simbel, Luxor, Karnak, monuments so vast, they outlived empires, earthquakes, and the desert's rage. For Ramses, stone was not just stone, it was immortality. But behind this eternal legacy lies a question. Did Ramses truly achieve what no man can? Did he conquer death through monuments of sand and stone? This is the story of the pharaoh who built forever. Ramses II was born into greatness, yet even from the very beginning, his life was unlike any ordinary child. As the son of Pharaoh Seti I, the kingdom whispered that his destiny was already carved into stone. To the people, he was not just a boy, he was the heir to divine blood, a vessel of the gods themselves. From childhood, he was trained like no other. Priests taught him sacred rituals, generals drilled him in warfare, and scribes shaped his understanding of diplomacy. Every lesson, every scar, every prayer was meant to prepare him, not merely to rule Egypt, but to embody it. Unlike most princes, Ramses was raised in the shadow of eternity. For Egyptians, the pharaoh was not just a ruler, he was a living god. And Ramses was being molded, day by day, into something that seemed greater than mortal. But no amount of training could prepare him for the destiny that awaited. For the boy who wore the crown was about to step into history, not as a king, but as a god of men. At only 25 years old, Ramses faced a test that would define his reign, the infamous Battle of Kadesh against the Hittite Empire. This was not just a skirmish. It was one of the greatest clashes of the ancient world, over 20,000 soldiers, 5,000 chariots, two empires colliding for dominance. The young pharaoh found himself surrounded, betrayed by faulty intelligence, his army split and vulnerable. For a moment, Egypt's future trembled on the edge of collapse. But Ramses would not bend. In the midst of chaos, he mounted his golden chariot, charging into the heart of the battlefield. Arrows rained down, men fell all around him, but his presence alone shifted the tide. The enemy saw not just a man, but a god of war descending upon them. Ramses rallied his scattered troops, turned panic into power, and carved his name into the memory of Kadesh. Though the battle ended in stalemate, Ramses made sure history told a different story. He declared victory, engraved his triumph onto temple walls, and ensured that generations to come would remember him as the king who could not be defeated. For Ramses, ruling Egypt was not enough. He sought something greater, immortality. And immortality, he believed, was carved in stone. No pharaoh in history matched the scale of his vision. He ordered temples so colossal, they made mortals feel like ants standing before gods. He raised Abu Simbel, temples carved deep into cliffs, aligned with the sun so that twice a year, his statue would be bathed in divine light. He built Ramses, a city so grand it rivaled the greatest capitals of the world. He left behind hundreds of monuments, statues, and inscriptions, all carrying one message. Ramses is eternal. Each stone was not just architecture, but propaganda, whispering across centuries. He was not just a man, he was a god who walked the earth. Ramses reigned for over 66 years, longer than almost any ruler in history. He lived so long that many of his own sons and grandsons died before him, leaving him an unshakable figure in the eyes of Egypt. To his people, he was not just pharaoh. He was eternal. When he finally died in his 90s, Egypt plunged into mourning. For many, it felt as though a god had fallen. But death did not end his story. His mummy, preserved in extraordinary condition, still bears the sharp features of the king who once ruled an empire. His monuments, carved in the heart of the desert, still stand tall against wind and time. More than 3,000 years later, we still whisper his name, Ramses the Great. A man who bent history, commanded armies, and built monuments that defied time itself. To this day, his legend reminds us. Power fades. Kingdoms crumble. But greatness endures forever. This was the story of Ramses II. The god who walked as a man, the immortal pharaoh who carved his name into eternity. You've been watching Ancient Egypt Unveiled, where history is not just remembered, but reborn. Subscribe now, and uncover the legends that still shape our world.